Hi guys, it's Dan here. I just wanted to show what I'm doing with solid state SSG circuit. Bedini's new pattern. I'll just sketch down a little one up in here. It's not quite exactly as it's shown here. Instead of using a 5k pot, I'm using a 10k pot, and I have 150 ohm resistors going to the base at the moment. I'm probably going to play around with that a little bit more when I sort of decide on a final solution to this circuit. And this one here, I have been running a smaller one off a solar panel, but this is just going straight battery to battery. So this one here, I've loaded down my battery. This is only the second time I've used this battery. It's a brand new one. I just grabbed it the other day. In Australia, this is about the closest we can get to what John Bedini suggested, which was a ever start lawnmower battery, lawn tractor in his own words. But just come up and have a look at the circuit here. You can see I've just sort of made it on the board. I've litzed these, wound them with a drill. I need to get a bigger pot at the moment, and I'll show you why when I start it up. With the wires, I've done something a little bit different. I've put on a lot thicker gauge. Usually I was just using 17 gauge wire, but I thought I'd get something quite thicker, try and make sure that I either, one, change the impedance, and two, get the radiant energy going. Come around and have a look what I'm doing at the front end here. You can see that I've got a capacitor here. I'm using a 40 volt, just turn it up on the side so you can see. I'm using a 30 volt 9300, well basically it's UF, but it's a motor start battery. Really I'm just doing that to change the impedance, pretty much an overkill, but I thought I might as well do that to make sure that there's no impedance coming off the front with all these small wires as you can see in the meter and etc. And then it comes into the nice low impedance at the back end. I'll just come down and have a look here. You can see this is my first attempt at a circuit. This one is 3 strands of 0.4mm copper wire, 120 foot per strand. Each strand measured 4.6 ohms, and this one is just, as the picture is drawn there, just the 2 transistor circuit, and that is drawn exactly as the picture. That's 120 ohms to the base. This one here usually does run off a solar panel. Just come up here. These were the other leads that I was using before. So as you can see, a lot sort of thinner gauge, and while I was sort of mucking around with that, I thought I might sort of make up some better leads and make up one of these to power the chrome ray, which is still a work in progress. So I have a video up already of that. I'll just move these up out of the way. So you can see with the battery here, so it's settled down now. I've done its load test and it's bounced back. So I'll start it up and give you a look at the actual draw. These capacitors do have a little bit left in them when you do it like that. So as I was saying, 800 milliamp draw. I have this one tuned so it was putting 800 milliamp on the primary, putting 500 milliamp to the secondary. But I'm not really worried too much about the secondary. I'm just worried about the amount of spike that I get, and as many spikes as possible, as fast as I can get that transistor to switch. I'd like to actually do another test with this where I can put a coil, what they call a sniffer coil, on the side, and then I can actually come right here onto the middle of the coil and see where the scalar waves are to make sure that I'm fully saturating the coil. So there we go, we've got 800 milliamp draw, battery is starting to rise quite nicely. We'll just come up and have a look at our waveform here. Sorry about the glare, I'll try and get a better look. Yep, we'll come in at the side here. We've got that at 135 kilohertz, and we have that at 39 to 40 volt peaks. While I'm near the scope, I just want to back it off a little bit. I discovered something quite interesting about this. Like, as we can all see, we've got a nice little spike sort of like bouncing out at the top, but look what happens when you take it back another spot. This is actually John Bedini's analogy, saying the radiant energy comes through as an ocean wave. And I'll just let you sit there and look for yourself. Hopefully it does come up on YouTube, because you can usually see with this, it's coming through as spikes, they're not linear, and you can see now that there's an actual formation to it. It's coming as a wave. It's coming through. I might try and, no, that makes it a little bit too fuzzy. We'll come back like that. And sometimes you actually see it, and it does have the John Bedini analogy coming through like an ocean wave. Getting, as I said, nice 40 volt peaks, 758 microsecond per pulse, 132 kilohertz. I would actually like to, when I was playing around with this the other night, it was 137, so that's why I need to make permanent resistors. These pots move around, as we all know. Charging has gone up to 1268, and the pot isn't warming up as much as usual. Usually that warms up quite a bit, so I'm going to have to get myself a larger pot, and then I should rectify the situation. So it's a nice little coil, doesn't make too much sound, a little bit of high frequency. And that's what we want. We just want to get the coil as we'll come in close here. The first part of it, that's my self-oscillation, and the next part here is just all my collections, and I just made it that way just so it was easier to see. And I wouldn't usually recommend everyone doing this. I wouldn't go any more than I think this many transistors. I was afraid of burning out the board, but so far so good. So there you go. I wonder, everyone's been doing this solid state, and this one here is nothing different. It's exactly the same as Bedini. I haven't made any other modifications to it, and this one's quite good to just play around and see what it can do. And more importantly, get a brand new battery for it to play with. Okay guys, hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.